Let's begin with a question on cardiac medications. A client with heart failure is prescribed Digoxin. Which baseline laboratory result requires immediate nursing action prior to administration? A. Serum sodium level of 138 MEq/L. B. Serum potassium level of 3.1 MEq/L. C. Serum calcium level of 9.5 mg per deciliter. D. Blood urea nitrogen (BUN) of 15 mg per deciliter. The correct answer is B. A serum potassium level of 3.1 MEq/L. This indicates hypokalemia. Hypokalemia increases the risk of digoxin toxicity because potassium and digoxin compete for binding sites on the Na+/K+ ATP ACE pump. Always check the apical pulse and potassium levels before administering. Moving to antihypertensives. The nurse is preparing to administer Atenolol to a hypertensive client. Which assessment parameter indicates the drug should be held? A. Blood pressure of 138/84 of a millimeter of mercury. B. Apical heart rate of 52 beats per minute. C. Respiratory rate of 18 breaths per minute. D. Serum potassium level of 4.5 MEq/L. The correct answer is B. An apical heart rate of 52 beats per minute, which is bradycardia. Atenolol is a beta-1 blocker that decreases heart rate. You must withhold the medication if the heart rate is less than 60 beats per minute. Next, let's look at insulin. A nurse administers insulin Lispro to a client with type 1 diabetes at 8 a.m. At what time should the nurse monitor most closely for hypoglycemia? A. 8:15 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. B. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. C. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. D. 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The correct answer is B. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Insulin Lispro is a rapid-acting insulin. Its peak action occurs within 1 to 2 hours post-dose, which is when hypoglycemia risk is highest. Ensure the food tray is available before injecting. Now for anticoagulants. A client receiving a continuous heparin infusion has an APTT of 110 seconds. What is the priority nursing intervention? A. Increase the infusion rate by 100 units per hour. B. Stop the heparin infusion and notify the provider. C. Administer vitamin K intramuscularly. D. Document the finding as normal therapeutic range. The correct answer is B. Stop the heparin infusion and notify the provider. A therapeutic APTT on heparin is typically 60 to 80 seconds. An APTT of 110 seconds indicates a high risk for severe hemorrhage. Let's review anti-infectives. A client is receiving IV Gentamicin for severe sepsis. Which symptom reported by the client requires immediate evaluation for severe adverse toxicity? A. Mild nausea after infusion. B. Tinnitus and persistent dizziness. C. Dry mouth and skin flushing. D. Constipation and mild abdominal cramps. The correct answer is B. Tinnitus and persistent dizziness. These are signs of ototoxicity, which is a major boxed warning for aminoglycosides like gentamicin. This can lead to permanent damage. Moving on to psychotropics. A client with bipolar disorder is taking lithium carbonate. Which statement by the client indicates an increased risk for developing lithium toxicity? A. I drink 2 to 3 liters of water every single day. B. I started a low-sodium diet and started running outdoors. C. I have my blood drawn regularly as scheduled. D. I take my medication with meals to avoid stomach upset. The correct answer is B. Starting a low-sodium diet and running outdoors. Lithium levels are influenced by sodium balance. Low sodium or dehydration can cause the kidneys to reabsorb more lithium, leading to toxicity. Finally, parenteral safety. A nursing student is preparing to administer IV potassium chloride. Which action by the student requires immediate intervention by the supervising nurse? A. Infusing potassium using an infusion pump at 10 MEq per hour. B. Preparing a direct IV push bolus of potassium chloride. C. Assessing urine output, ensuring greater than 30 milliliters per hour prior to administration. D. Placing the client on a cardiac monitor during infusion. The correct answer is B. Preparing a direct IV push bolus of potassium chloride. You must never administer IV potassium as a push bolus, as it can cause lethal cardiac arrest. It must always be diluted. During an IV infusion of vancomycin, the client develops sudden flushing of the neck, face, and chest with severe itching. What is the nurse's immediate action? A. Discontinue the infusion permanently and document an allergy. B. Slow the IV infusion rate to run over at least 60 to 90 minutes. C. Administer IM epinephrine immediately. D. Increase the infusion rate to finish the dose quickly. The correct answer is B. To slow the IV infusion rate to run over at least 60 to 90 minutes. This reaction is known as red man syndrome, a histamine-mediated response to rapid vancomycin infusion, not true anaphylaxis. Let's move to respiratory medications. A client with an acute asthma exacerbation is prescribed both an albuterol inhaler and a beclomethasone inhaler. What should the nurse instruct the client regarding their use? A. Use the beclomethasone inhaler first to reduce inflammation. B. Use the albuterol inhaler first, wait 5 minutes, then use beclomethasone. C. Mix both medications together in the nebulizer cup. D. Avoid rinsing your mouth after taking the steroid inhaler. The correct answer is B. To use the albuterol inhaler first, wait 5 minutes, then use beclomethasone. Albuterol is a bronchodilator that opens airways, allowing the corticosteroid to penetrate deeper. Always remember to rinse the mouth after using steroid inhalers to prevent oral thrush. In the case of a suspected opioid overdose, a client presents with a respiratory rate of 6 breaths per minute and pinpoint pupils. Following the administration of naloxone, what is the nurse's primary concern? A. The client will experience permanent urinary retention. B. The duration of action of naloxone is shorter than most opioids, risking recurrent sedation. C. Naloxone will cause immediate severe hyperglycemia. D. The medication must be given with a full glass of water. The correct answer is B. That the duration of action of naloxone is shorter than most opioids, risking recurrent sedation. Because naloxone's half-life is brief, the nurse must continuously monitor the respiratory rate and be prepared to administer repeat doses.